Well, here's the start of the story to a tremendous buck, and it's a buck that you might remember from the earlier velvet footage shows. High and Tight, one of our most wanted deer, and he was probably right there at the top of the list of being that #1 buck. But the story of him stems back to last season when we actually started getting some trail camera pictures of him. We decided he was a really nice 3.5-year-old, decided he needed to walk this year and needed some age, and we had a couple encounters with him, and we decided that we just really felt like, yes, a solid 3.5-year-old, and this deer had a lot of potential. We got some velvet footage of him out in the field with a bachelor group back in July of last year, and just really felt confident that this deer was really, he had some good genetics, and he just needed a little bit of time. So we ended up hunting the past season, and we ended up seeing him a couple times, and just chance encounters. Usually it was more or less towards the end of the season. End up getting his shed last year, and I'll tell you what, if you ever have a shed that you're really looking for, the one you want, it's going to be the last one, it's going to be the hardest one to find. It was no different with this, and this was High and Tight's right side from last year, and just tremendous length that he's always had, and just an awesome buck, awesome 3.5-year-old for us. So it was great to find the shed because it let us know that he made it through the season, he lived through the season, and he stayed at our farm. So we were really glad to see that he was sticking around, and he's always had a really tight area he's lived to, and he's really never traveled very far out of his core area from what we could tell. So then we start this season, and first set of pictures we start getting from trail cameras back in July, High and Tight's on them, and we were so excited to see that he was there, and he was putting on tremendous length. I mean, his early trail camera pictures in July, he already had a tremendous rack growing, and we end up getting out there and start bow hunting. And we're really not bow hunting for him specifically at the time when I saw him. And we were actually hunting in a plot where I've never got a trail camera picture of him at or anything. It was just a pop-up encounter. He came up out of the sorghum. He was bedded out there, and he was probably about 150 yards out in front of me. And I just couldn't believe it. My first encounter with him out of velvet, and he was tremendous. So after that encounter that day, he disappears. He's gone. I'm just no hair or hide we see of him. He's completely just fell off our farm, it seemed like. We were seeing all the other deer we had on trail camera, but he had disappeared. He was nowhere to be found. Well, we ended up going out, and it was October the 29th, afternoon hunt, and I'm heading over to a field that had planted in some trophy radishes, other types of brassicas, and winter wheat, and ended up seeing a giant boar hog out there that we had on trail camera also. And he was actually a hog we were looking to get. So I'm going to cut right now to that hunt of that monster boar hog we had taken that same evening. Yes.
That is what you call laying the smack down on a big old boar hog. Man, that was awesome. I just got here, actually, and lucked out this time. But tell you what, that's a nice boar hog. And I tell you, I get just as pumped up about a big old boar hog. Nice buck, because those guys right there are few and far between. This is actually a hog that we need to get rid of. He's actually been chasing deer off this plot, so I'm really, really happy to finally get him out of here. But I think we got him knocked out pretty good. I see him out there what I'm talking about right there. Woo, yeah. That is a huge boar hog, huge. I mean, awesome. And these big boar hogs are hard to come by, and I tell you what, this right here is a real treat for me because I've yet to kill a red-black one, and this is it. Big old red-black boar hog. I tell you what, man, these guys right here are hard to find, and I tell you what, when you do get one of these nice big old boar hogs like this, man, it is such a treat. To me at least, because I love to hunt for big boar hogs. And even though we weren't specifically looking for a big boar hog tonight, we did find one, and this was one that needed to go. He actually has been causing a little bit of damage around here. Actually, a trail camera picture of him the other night, and when I saw it, I really got excited, man, because this kind of hog right here is the one I hunt for. I tell you, dropped him down with the 270 Savage, and man, he is nice. He has got some cutters on him, got some real nice wetters on top, real nice cutters on bottom. Big old burly head right there, just real nice hog. Man, gosh, that's awesome, man.
So we get the big boar hog and get down, check him out, and I'm heading over to the truck. Kind of decided if I'm gonna go switch to another stand or if I'm gonna get my dad to help me get the hog out when he gets done hunting or what. But I get over to the truck and I see a buck running does about 500-600 yards to my north, up on top, flying out of the tall weeds and stuff, and he starts running the does all out there in front of me. And at this time, you know, I'm just sitting there thinking this is going to be it. I mean, just chicken freak out, running some does around and everything, and I'm almost about to leave. About the time that I was thinking about leaving, a giant comes up, and he's not very far away from me at all. He must have been bedded right there in that close area, probably close to them does. I'm believing he was probably bedded with those does that were out there. Anyway, he gets up, and as soon as I catch the first glimpse of that deer, I knew exactly what it was. It was high and tight, and I couldn't believe it. Not just had seen him for a while, and then on top of that, just to see this deer in person is just unreal. So he comes out, and I'm sitting there just about to die because I can't film it. The lights done got too low for the camera, and I can't film it, but I can't let this deer get away from me. So I get set up, and he's coming straight down in front of me, and I take the shot at like, I think it was 60 yards, I believe. Not very far at all. It was almost close enough to probably shoot with a bow from the ground. But he takes a shot, and he runs off, and he makes it about 50-60 yards, and he just stops and flips over, and then the tremendous feeling of accomplishment comes over me because this deer was everything we wanted him to turn into, and I was just so excited.
Another deer, didn't get it on camera, walked up on him, but it is our probably #1 most wanted deer, and it's the deer that carried this antler last year. So let's go ahead and check him out. I can remember where it's at. There he is, high and tight on the ground. That's the one right there. That's one of the #1 bucks we were looking for this year. And that's him. Tell you what, I can't be more excited to get this deer on the ground. And this was a deer we actually had lost him for a little while too. And he come out actually right over here in the field beside me and kind of popped up. One of the deer we've been seeing a pretty good bit, Chicken Freak, was actually running some does. And I actually shot a big old boar hog, which you'll see on the film, and he just was a chance encounter with that big boar hog. Shot him, got down, came back to the truck, and actually seen some deer out here in the field, and bucks was running deer way up above the field at my house. So I was actually watching from the back of the truck. Well, after I couldn't see him anymore, I got down, I walked over to Dad's truck. He was parked over behind the barn, and I heard a doe blowing out in the field. So I just said, I'm gonna ease around here, you know, just walked around there. Luckily enough, I took my rifle and looked out in the fields, a few does, and then Chicken Freak popped out, and then out of nowhere, this big, tall, racked deer popped out of nowhere, high and tight, and I knew it as soon as I saw him. And as much as I hate to say I didn't get it on film, I couldn't be more happy to at least get this deer on the ground. This deer right here is a deer of dreams for me. I tell you, because it's a deer with history. All the way from last year to getting his sheds back in the spring to the first trail camera pictures of him back in the summer. I tell you what, it's been a long trip, but I'm so glad to finally have this deer on the ground.
You got some time, don't you?
God.